Hi, good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome back, everyone, to Lana's Little Things with me, Dr. Lana, specialist gerontologist, talking all things on living agelessly, bridging generational gaps, entrepreneurship, you know, caregiving in families, and life itself. Wherever you are, welcome back. So we're at post 175. And it is so great to be feeling in fighting form again. Oh, that flu would never end. And for those of you who might be having a flu, this is just a preamble, but just feel better soon and just feel better soon. Yeah. So, and thank you for your well wishes. That was awesome. So, what I wanted to talk about today, it's so many events happened this week. And for those of you who've lost a loved one, all my sympathies and my heart goes out to you. For those of because know we're each of us valuable and no one is replaceable. So that having lost two friends, dear friends this week is it's been a challenge. And also I must say there are times you know when you see the best and the worst of mankind. hmm But also it's been a week. It's been a weeks too. Hmm. It's and there are times when you know that you your worth has been challenged. Who you are has been questioned. Your integrity is up for judgment. Have you ever had that? And if so, how recently? And how did it make you feel? So I'm going to talk a bit about well, you just said life itself and the entrepreneurial life and in family caregiving and in bridging gaps and fostering friendships and life itself. There are many times when all of those things, relationships, work life, family life, just other life, there are times when you maybe made to feel because of somebody else's emotions or someone else's I don't know, story, as though your story has no validation. So let's talk about that a bit. Let's talk about worth. That is what has been on a lot of people's minds. A lot of patients I've spoken to, a lot of friends who have been talking, and we've just been talking to each other and encouraging one another, and kudos for good friends. They've been feeling slated as if their integrity is being held up for judgments, negative judgment, as if their worth is nothing. Their validation doesn't matter. So, whose validation matters? Whose worth really matters? What's your life worth to you? What's it worth to me? Well, I really had to reflect on a whole set of things this week, and I have to say, first, there are times when you get revelations, you know what I mean? And you're like, well, I never thought of it like that before. I've never seen that before. And I must say, I've probably for the first time in a long time, if ever, realized, you know what? External validation is what we were taught to look for. And it isn't that, it's internal validation that matters. It's if you're that's your belief, it's what your supreme being, what God thinks about you that matters. Because He made you. And He says you matter. So it matters. But think about it. From the time we were children, We were told what to wear, what to do, where to go, how to think, and we were also told in subtle ways who we were. So whether you were right or wrong, you did something bad or not, or you're disobedient, you were then automatically slotted into, or you're this, or you're not like this person, or you should be, or you weren't, or you are. Every time it's been a judgment. Can you identify? Can you relate to this? I'm sure you can. That's for sure. So, whose story really matters? Is it someone's who barely knows you, who doesn't know you, who thinks they know you, who's heard something about you, or as I said, who has their own story going on and want to then project their story and their feelings onto you? Whose story is valid? Is your story going to be told by someone else, or is it time to tell your story? Well, I think it's time for us to tell our own story because we know our own story the best. You know your own story. Only you know your life, your upbringing, your everything. Only you can tell it the way you can tell it. That's right. So let's look at this acronym RARE. But RARE. Well, because we are rare, unique, one of a kind. No one is replaceable. And I did some research, and you'd be amazed at how many entries I saw on external versus internal validation, knowing your worth, when to speak up, how to speak up for yourself, how to be. Do you need to defend yourself? Or do you just need to revalidate yourself? Amazing. And why are there so many entries? Because it's coming up over and over again in this world where judgment is the order of the day. Negative connotations are the order of the day. Everyone has something, well, not everyone, but it's increasingly negative. And we're not going to put rose colored glasses on and blinkers on and pretend like nothing's wrong and we're perfect. No, that's not what I'm saying. Just saying that we each have a valid story, but we're human. And when your integrity, your worth, your value, your ability, your capability, your sheer humanity is being questioned by someone who has no right to do it because they have no place in your story. They have no knowledge of your story. They have no idea of who you are, but they've decided to project onto you. And of course, you're human, you're gonna feel it. I've also been researching like people of history, and each one, all accolades. Alexander Graham Bell, inventor of the telephone and teacher of the deaf, to leaders, to those who are well renowned, inventors, scientists, poets, writers, you name it. Anyone you can think of who has fought the good fight has had at some point what may be considered to be a low point. We all have low points. And also where their integrity was called into question. And it can be a deep, dark place. So what do you do? Hmm. What happens when you yourself, your person, is being called into question? Are you going to cower, or is it time to reaffirm and tell your story? So let's just look into what I was talking to about rare. As it's just my acronym, I'm just like, come up with your own. But if you find it useful, write it down. And it just might help. I had to write it down for myself, and I think I'm going to post this on my fridge for sure. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being self-aware. And yes, there are times when we have to reflect. But let's think about how we just do a spin on this, a spin doctor thing on this, and regain our worth, regain our value, regain our validation from within and not from without. That has to stop for sure. So, without further ado, the R. I put so many R's in here. I'm like, how many R's are you going to put in here, girl? But the R, first R, this is rare. We're talking about. Anytime these negative things come, record it. You might not, the feelings right there that you're feeling, record what you're recording. Is it a fact? Record your feelings and then look at the feelings you've written down. I feel frustrated, I feel upset, I'm hurt, I am angry, I am feeling vulnerable, I feel exposed, I feel unfair, which is an expression we use in Barbados, in my country. People feel unfair. It's an unjust situation. So write your feelings down, because when you write it down, you can articulate it better. You have something to look at to explain, and then look and see, is this a true? When you have the feelings and you feel the judgment and you feel the whatever and the negative and the unjustness of the situation, is what whoever pointing fingers at you, is what they're saying a true fact? We know someone who says that. Is that a true fact? Hmm. Your feelings are valid, but is what the person is saying a true fact? So that's record. Next thing is take accountability. So that's the A. So accountability. Some We're not perfect. No one is. No one has that monopoly. Only Jesus. No one has that monopoly. So is there truth to anything of it? Because if it triggers a feeling inside, maybe there's truth to something. Not to who you are, but maybe to some part of the situation where you can give grace to the space to the other person and say, you know what? Maybe I could have said something differently. Maybe I could have worded it or phrased it differently. Maybe my tone was a bit off. Maybe I could have acted differently. You know what? I take accountability for that. And that revalidates yourself, because you take your own power back. You take the accountability. You don't let someone tell you how you are to feel. You own it, and that empowers you. So accountability. The next R, well, actually, that's three and one now. So you reflect, which means you go within. It's kind of different from taking accountability or recording, because this is time where you're going to go quiet. You're going to pray. You're going to go into reflection. You're going to be very still. Go quiet. Wherever is your comfort place, and just remember who you are. Go deep within. Who are you at your core? Who do you know yourself to be? Are you a person of integrity? Are you a person who's loyal? Are you a person who's a good friend? Are you capable at what you do? Are you valid? The answer is obvious. It is obvious, but it might not feel obvious. So reflect and go within and ask these questions. Do I matter? Does my story matter? Am I this person I'm being accused of being, or am I truly this? So reflect, go within, go in your deep, quiet space and reflect. When you reflect, review the situation. Review it with a point of going back to who you are at core. And you will see you really are a good person. You are a good person. You are who you are. You're not what you do, you're who you are. And no one has the right to tell you who you are. You may need to adjust things in what you do, but no one has the right to tell you or to imply or to subtly, sneakily, snakily suggest that you are less than. Never, ever, ever, ever. Don't you do it. And the other R is within that, when it starts to rain, so I'm just hope you can still hear me. But I love rain. Anyway, I digress. Reaffirm. Reaffirm out loud. I am worthy. I do matter. My life matters. My story matters. Who I am matters. I matter. And then the E, embrace. Like literally hug yourself. Louise Hay is really good for that. Hug yourself and say, you know what? I love you. No one can reaffirm your love for you, but you can for yourself. Internal validation. I love you. I love you, Nano. That's to me. You just hug yourself, look yourself in the mirror, and embrace who you are. So, RARE. Record your feelings, take accountability, reflect, review, reaffirm, and embrace. And with that, you let go. You release that thing that we were told, oh, you need someone else to tell you who you are. You don't. You don't. Find friends who support you, who know your worth, who will hold you accountable, yes, but who know your worth. And the opinion of others, as I've heard before, is none of your business. Only God, only your Creator can tell you who you are as an external person. Validate yourself. Your story matters. You matter. From my heart to yours, Dr. Lana, just a little bit of rant? No, not really. Reaffirming. Reaffirm who you are. Reaffirm yourself. Get back on your feet. Be empowered. It's your life. It's your life. You get to tell it. You get to validate it. And smile and embrace who you are. And we will talk again. If this is helpful to you in any way, please leave your comments down below. What is your story? And if you are a family caregiver or you're a fellow physician like me and you're feeling like, oh, I just feel burnt to a crisp and really need some support in this journey, here's your burnout coach here. Here's your doctor for that. Believe you me, we are on this journey together. I'll leave the link below. You can connect by email. Find me on my website, Lana's Little Things, and let's talk. Do you have coaching programs? We can just have a 15-minute free Zoom session and we can just wrap together. You matter. We'll talk some more. Have a wonderful morning, evening, or night. My heart's yours. That's what I'm saying. Until next time. Mwah.